photography tip. When you're trying to find a certain look that you like, start with the aperture. Different aperture settings will give your photo a different look and a different feel. And in the end, they'll tell a different story. So, for me, when I was indoors and it was night, when the max aperture I could go was 2.8. So I just accepted 2.8 was my inside nighttime aperture. And then when I'm outside, I tried to stick to it as much as possible, 5.6. I just like the look that came out of the lens at 5.6. They can be different for you, but for me, that's what worked. And then that variable was fixed. So if I was outdoors, I knew my photos would have that 5.6 look that I get. And then inside, I knew like the depth of field would be that look of 2.8. And then what changes is just the shutter. And then the shutter then dictates the rest of the story, because if it's really, really dark and then you have a slow shutter inside, that then tells its own story. It's going to give a distinct look. If people are moving around inside and it's dark, then it's going to give a much greater sense of movement, and the scene is going to feel much more dynamic. Same as for outside as well. Sometimes it'd be dark outside and I'd still set it at 5.6, like dark for daylight. And obviously if you have your shutter around, above 125, you're going to capture a lot of things in motion. But sometimes if you're in the shade or, the sun's going down, it's a bit darker, you're just in these darker pockets. It's often that I'd find myself shooting at a 30th of a second. And again, the shutter captures that shutter speed, a lower shutter speed, then tells a different story to what a shutter speed would at a higher shutter speed. So you're within this realm of setting your aperture, you're creating a series of different outcomes and looks you can achieve just from your shutter speed. And that's all that is because of your aperture being set and locked. I'm talking about film as well, so your film ISO is locked. If it's on a digital camera, consider locking the ISO too, just so what you're adjusting is just the shutter speed. But for me, that helped me find a style and look that I wanted, and I was able to refine in on that feeling and that photo that I'm trying to achieve, having those two just locked in. Obviously, I change that from time to time, but just getting started, it was massively helpful.